Hi, this is Ishita Dutta, a legal intern at LEXIS and Company, and today I will be talking about the topic is how to deal with a false check bounce case. How to deal with a false check bounce case. A very reputed businessman who had established various branches of his brand in different cities across India was accused of a false check bounce case by a bank. The amount charged on him was huge as well, but he took the right decisions quickly without wasting any time thinking about how his reputation is now harmed. He collected all the required documents and files and contacted a lawyer to file a legal notice within the time span of 30 days. And since it was a false allegation on him, it was not much of a task for the bank to be proven guilty. If he would have not taken the said actions quickly and did not submit the notice on time within 30 days of receiving the notice from the bank, a warrant might have been issued against him, and also he would have also had to actually pay the amount for the false check bounce imputation. So these accusations are generally to affect the reputation of a person and bring him down or go to jail. Although it might end up being a mistake on the bank side or the depositor of the check in some cases, but mostly it is to bring down the prestige and the position of the recipient of the check in the market. If you are also incriminated by a false check bounce case or just want to be aware about such happenings in the real world, this video will tell you everything from starting of the basic definition of what is a check and a check bounce to what you can do other than panicking and stressing out if you ever are stuck in such a situation to under false check bounce. First, you must know what is a check. So check bounce and the reasons for the check bounce. A check is an important part of the financial system in various countries across the world. So a check is regarded as an important document which can be used by an individual, company or a government for transactions of various amounts. A check is also termed as a negotiable document to transport money in a physical form or even to perform inter-account transfer. What is a check bounce? The situation of check bounce means that the process of depositing check in the bank has been unsuccessful. It might be due to several reasons. For like when there are insufficient funds in the account of the issuer, it is therefore advised to be aware and careful while issuing a check to ensure that there is sufficient balance in the account of the issuer. Second, that when the date mentioned in the check is disfigured or when the numbers are scribbled or even if the date on the check is 3 months old from the present date, then the bank can also bounce the check. Third can be when the signature does not match with the bank's records. Fourth is when there is a difference in the amounts mentioned in the numbers and words. Fifth is when the check has too many stains or marks. Sixth is when there is overwriting, scribbling or correction on a check. A false check bounce. So many people are still prefer making their payments through checks because of various reasons. Like the check allows to make payments to people who do not have a bank account or few are not yet comfortable with net banking. But the check bounce cases are rising in today's times and the Indian courts are filled with these cases which are filed under section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. These cases are usually to extract money from someone or to harm his or her reputation. However, some check bounce cases amongst these cases are also false cases and are not genuine cases which target some innocent people who end up facing legal issues because they lack the knowledge on what should be done. So how would you deal with a false check? The false bounce check. The victim in such cases need not worry much about it as it is a false accusation and can be proved very easily with the valid documents and there was enough balance on the fund account or the issuer which would ensure that there was no check bounce. So some important measures to take when a situation of a false check bounce arises is you have to collect all the important documents. The most wise and smart thing to do is that when there is any false accusation to a person is to collect proof which will show him guilty of the charge put on him. Similarly, this case is no different and collecting the relevant documents which should prove innocent and the bank guilty. Second would be contact the bank and collect information regarding the dishonor of check. So if your check bounces, the bank would send you a notice informing you of the same. You have to then contact them and confirm if it has really happened and if it did, what are the reasons. Third would be hire a lawyer and reply to the legal notice of the bank. It is not easy to draft a legal notice and you should not take it lightly because once the notice is drafted and sent, you would not be able to change its content and have to stick to it. You would not able to go against the statement written by you in your notice. First, you must consult with a lawyer who deals with check bounce cases and reply to the notice about the check bounce case, which you would have got from the check receiver. So the reply should be sent within 30 days of receiving the notice, and in many of such cases of fraud and false accusation, the case is withdrawn once a legal notice is sent. For this, file a counter case. You are legally allowed to file a counter civil case against the person who has filed a false check bounce against you. You can also claim compensation to the false accusation. You can also claim the compensation for all the damages and expenses which you might have incurred for dealing with the fraud case with the bank. You can also file a defamation case against the false accusations or the accuser. So what are the documents required for filing a counter case? First is payment invoices. Second is the bill generated when the payment was made. Third is the bank account statement. Fourth would be a copy of the check issued. Fifth is bank draft check. It is always a good idea to keep 2-3 copies of each document, because sometimes you might have to submit the copies to the authorities dealing with such cases. The process becomes quicker and hassle-free when the documents are handy. Section 138 in the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881 says that it provides the legal resource recourse to handle the situation of a check bounce or the dishonor of a check. So this section has been very recently decriminalized. On 8th June 2020, the Ministry of Finance proposed decriminalizing various minor offences for improving business sentiments and unclogging court processes, which also included Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881. The main purpose for decriminalizing this section is to promote foreign investment in our country. So due to the coronavirus disease, the economy of India has been affected badly, and these steps would also help in boosting India's economy. So, but every action has its reaction, and this step will lead the creditors to lose their confidence in the credibility of the check system. Punishment for check bounce case. So section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act states that the dishonor of check or check bounce is a criminal offence, and the punishment includes imprisonment up to 2 years or monetary penalty or with both. If the court is convinced that you are guilty and the case of the bank has no merit, then it will provide you all the charges. In conclusion, I would like to say that false check bounce cases along with other fraud cases are rising each day. It is very important to be aware about the different types of fraud, and especially frauds related to monetary aspects like checks, because money is obviously involved in every job and work. So going by this thing, precaution is better than cure. It's always good to have knowledge about these frauds so that you can easily prevent that from happening, or in some cases when it is not really in the hands of the person to prevent, you at least know the cure to it. Having knowledge makes you capable of helping out someone stuck in the same situation. Thank you so much.